out here wearing teams, like wearing the Hope for Heather shirt. I just can't tell you guys enough how much all the social media posts, all the fundraisers, all the text messages and calls have like overwhelmed my family and Heather like throughout the past month. Since then, we just have been overwhelmed with support, with prayer, and we just can't tell you guys enough like how much it means us to me. Like, can never repay you guys for the things that all you guys have done for us. Today, I want to talk about how your mindset affects your outlook on life. Through everything that my family has been through, I feel like that's one thing that I can definitely say that I've learned during the past 2 or 3 years. The way your mind thinks not only affects your outlook on life, but it affects everything you do. All of us know that the game of softball, as our coaches continually tell us, is 100% mental. A lot of people would argue and say that's 90%, but nothing you do in softball can be done without 100% of your mentality. And so, just as in softball, how it's 100% mental to play to your best, the same thing goes in life. It's 100% mental. Regardless of what comes your way, your mentality towards that is going to determine the outcome. In softball, I had a coach tell me about a year ago that you should always keep the win always mentality. Whether you're in the first inning, you're pitching on the mountain, you give up 5 runs, she told me to always think to yourself, win anyways. Don't worry about what just happened, think to yourself, win anyways. If you're in the last inning and your team's down by 5 runs, and everybody else on the bench is down there like, oh my gosh, we're about to lose this game, we're down and out, be that one player who always thinks, win anyways, come on guys, like we're up, like who cares what just happened, like there's more to this game, like the game's not over yet, like we're gonna win anyways. She always told me something that I'll never forget, and that's that mentality to always keep, no matter what's going on in the game, to win anyways. There's 2 different players in the game of softball. I played with both of them. The first is the player who, like I said, who keeps that win always mentality. I love being around that player. I love being in the dugout whenever I come in after I strike out and I'm down on myself. I love that player comes up, like, come on, like there's more to this game. Like you struck out, but okay, you have another at bat, get them the next time. I love being around that player who, whenever we're down in the last inning, they're not sitting on the bench pouting. They're up at the bench cheering for me, cheering for the teammates, like knowing that there's more to this game, like we can win this game, there's still more to the outcome. Like they're changing the game around. If every single player was to sit on the bench and open, that's the outcome of the game. Like your chances of winning that game have decreased greatly. I like that first player. I want to be that first player. I know all you guys want to be that first player. It's hard. It's hard to be that first player. It's hard after you strike out to come in and not want to cry. It's hard after you make an error to take it off and not put your head down. It's hard when your team's down by 5 or 6 runs to stay up in the dugout and keep on cheering in the last inning. It's hard to see that brighter side of the game whenever things aren't going your way. The second kind of player, I played with her also. I've been this player also. Back when I was you guys' age, I know I was this player also. That's the player that gets down on themselves easily. That's the player that everybody wants to play. That's the player that I want to pitch against. That's the player that whenever they have 2 strikes, they already know their knees are shaking, like they know their odds have just decreased greatly. They thinking, oh, I can't get this hit, I can't do this, I can't do that. That's the player that, as soon as they make that error, they're down on themselves. That's their game. That's the rest of the game. Like they're making errors, that's their game. I pitched in a game before where I walked the first few batters and I was like, dang, like this is not looking good. Like I got down on myself. The rest of the game, we lost. We lost the state championship because that's how I was. I was walking every single batter. And I just remember I was just like, dang, like this is not my day. And it was the first inning. I was telling myself it wasn't my day. And sure enough, it wasn't my day. I was walking on the batters and the game didn't turn around from there because my attitude about it didn't turn around. I got down on myself, and ultimately, that was the outcome of the game. Your attitude towards that game not only affects you, but it affects all your players around, all your teammates around you. It affects your whole team. And just how there's those 2 different players in life, I want you guys to realize that there's those 2 people, or just how there's those 2 players in the game, there's the same 2 people in life. There's the people that obviously everybody's going through something. There's people who are going through worse than me here today that we know nothing about. I mean, I don't know what everybody's going through here. None of us do, but I guarantee you somebody here has gone through worse than what I have, gone through worse than what my family, what Heather has, but we would never know it. But those are the people that, no matter what's going on, like they keep the positive attitude. They know that there's more to this life, like than just this one circumstance. My dad would always tell me that even whenever something bad was going on, he would always be like, you just gotta keep thinking, this too will pass. Like, no matter what the circumstance was, he would always say, like, don't worry about it, it's gonna pass. With time, it'll pass. So I always just think that in life, you can be that first player who, whenever something doesn't go your way in life, you just keep thinking, I'm gonna win this situation anyways. Instead of talking according to what the devil wants you to think, you're talking according to the Word of God. I have an example that I want to tell you guys about. I play softball at East Carolina, and every morning they make us wake up at 5 o'clock to be in the weight room by 5:45 for 6 a.m. workout. And me and my roommate, whenever we first got there, like the first 3 days that we were there, we would wake up, we'd blast music at 5 in the morning, be like, okay, like we're going to do this, we're about to lift some weights, we're about to run. Like we were all energized. We got in that weight room, like we saw all the other girls like pounding stuff. We're like, damn, like we're doing good. And so it was like our first 3 days there. Like after those first 3 days, like we would wake up every day, and like it is a struggle getting out of that bed. Like we're just like, why are we doing this? Like we hate it. We hate waking up. And like I just can remember so many days in high school, like when the devil like would put thoughts in my head, and I would wake up out of bed. I'm like, this is about to be a terrible day. Like I know, like everybody has those thoughts whenever you wake up in the morning. Like you can either wake up like, dang, like I'm feeling good about myself, like I'm about to have a great day, or you can wake up like, man, this day's about to be terrible. Like even whenever you wake up for a softball tournament, I'm sure when you have to wake up for them 8 o'clock games at 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock to get here, like you're not just, woo, let's go to the ball field. Like a lot of you guys are probably struggling to get out of that bed, but my point is that like my whole career playing softball, like the whole goal, I'm sure all you guys' goal is to play in college, and whenever you sign those papers to commit there, you're like, wow, like what a blessing. Like I'm so blessed to be able to continue my career. Like whenever I would get out of bed and like me and my roommate were complaining, I'm just like how selfish of us to think like that I'm complaining because I had to get out of bed at 5, but my sister would never be able to pick up a softball again. Not just her, like there's people who were born never even able to play softball, never with that ability. Like how selfish of me to think that just because I have to wake up a few hours early, like my whole outlook on the blessing has changed. I don't see playing softball there as a blessing anymore. Instead, I see it as something I wish I wasn't doing. But that's how easy the devil can take the blessing that God has given you and change your whole outlook on it to where you don't even see it as a blessing anymore. You see it as something that you wish you weren't doing. My mom would always tell me that whenever I was up to bat, she would say, you know, even if you have 2 strikes, if you see yourself hitting that home run, like your chances to hit that home run have increased tremendously. And it's true. Whenever you're up to bat, if you see yourself out there striking out, your chances to strike out have increased so much. And I just think that in life, whenever the circumstances happen, because they do, everybody's going through something, like something you have no idea about, something that you can look at them and never even be able to tell. But it depends on that person's outlook on life. And I just feel that no matter what you're going through, that you should always be that first player, that win always person, that if you can see yourself thinking, I'm going to do this for the Lord, then it'll be so much easier to get through that circumstance. 2 Corinthians 10, 4 through 5, it says, the weapons we fight with are not the weapons of the world. On the contrary, they have divine power to demolish strongholds. We demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God, and we take captive of every thought to make it obedient to Christ. And I feel like that goes back to what I'm saying about waking up and having those thoughts that the devil puts in your head. I wake up every morning in college, and I feel like the devil's putting thoughts in my head because not one day goes by that I'm ready to get out of that bed and go to those workouts, or I'm ready to get out of bed and go to class. And I just feel like this verse says that we take captive of every thought to make it obedient to Christ. And like that just reminds me that the devil is going to do his best to get us, like to put those thoughts in our head, to get our mentalities to change about the blessings that the Lord has given us. But it says that we can take the thoughts and like make them obedient to Christ. I just feel like that's a real big deal to know that every single thought that's put in our head, like we have that choice of whether we're going to choose, all right, I'm going to change this to make it obedient to God, or the devil's right, like I deserve this, or I deserve to have a bad day, or I'm going to have a bad day. My mom, she's one person that I just want to talk about today because she couldn't be here today because she's in Charlotte and she had to work this weekend. But I just want to talk about how not only like do people like have outlooks on life that through all the circumstances they go through, some people I see like never cry, like I'll never see them shed a tear, I'll never see them like frown, like some people I always see with a smile on their face, and I ask myself, like, how are they doing that? Like, they must have a real good life. Like, they have nothing going on with them. Like, lucky them for not having a frown about anything. But, I mean, like, that's so easy for me to think because I have no idea what that person's going through. All I see is, like, them smiling all the time. And whenever I think about that, I just want to remind you guys that no matter what that person's outlook on life is, like, you have no idea what they're going through. And my mom, I always look at her and I just think, like, man, if I didn't know you, like, on a personal basis, I would have no idea what you've been through. I wouldn't be able to, like, all of you guys, if my mom was standing right here beside me, you wouldn't be able to look at her and say, wow, like, she's been through a lot. She lost her dad a few years ago in a fight to cancer, and now she's having to deal with or take care of her mom the past 3 years for illnesses that she's going through. You wouldn't be able to tell that my mom watched her son, my brother, fight a drug addiction for 3 years and then lose him on February this year. And you wouldn't be able to tell that my mom has to commute back and forth from Charlotte every other day just to spend time with Heather in the hospital so she can keep her job. Like, you just wouldn't be able to tell the things that my mom's been through, because every time I talk to her, she's concerned about other people. Like, I never hear her say anything about herself. She's the most selfless person I know, and for that, like, I look up to her, and she gives me a new outlook on life towards everybody else, because I just feel like there's so many people here who've helped me and, like, helped my family and put forth, like, so much money and time and effort and all the pain that you guys have worn on the social media posts, the time it takes to post those. I just feel like I have no idea what all you guys have gone through, but I know, like, I haven't gone through the worst. I know that me and my family and Heather haven't gone through the worst, and to see you guys doing all this for us is, like I said, it's completely overwhelming. And because of this situation, like, my outlook has definitely changed on life. Like, instead of waking up for those 5 a.m.s, like, dang devil, like, dang God, why are you making me do this? Like, the devil is right. Like, this sucks, and this is not a blessing. Like, I want to go home. I don't want to play softball anymore. Like, I wake up like, dang, like, there are people today who aren't playing softball. Like, there are people who want to be playing softball. For those of you guys who don't know what happened, because I'm sure there are people out here who don't know, Heather was hit by a car on October 11th, and she was in emergency surgery for about 5 hours, and they had to remove the right side of her skull. And whenever they did that, we weren't told. We were just all in the emergency room waiting. We didn't know what the outcome was going to be. All we were told was that it didn't look good. Like, we'll be out in a little bit with an outcome. We'll be out to tell you guys what the news is. So we were all sitting there, and as I was sitting in that room, like, I was just looking around, like, my whole family's in there, like, my brother, my mom, my dad, like our pastors, our church people, like, everybody's just sitting there. Like, I could just look around, and like the tension was growing. Like, I could just feel everybody had their own outlook on the situation. Like, everybody was so uptight, and I just remember thinking, like, I know a lot of you guys know Victor Murray and, like, the situation that he's going through, and his brother Marion has really helped me, like, throughout the situation of what Heather's been through. And he just told me, you know, like, why worry if you're going to pray, and why pray if you're going to worry. And during that circumstance of, like, sitting in, like, the waiting room, like, tensions were there. Everybody's just, like, looking around, like, you know, why is this happening to us? Like, asking God, why us? But, you know, it wasn't that. Like, why was I going to worry about what the outcome of Heather was going to be if I was going to pray about it? And, like, the devil wants us to pray with fear and with doubt. And whenever I think about all the prayers that you guys have lifted Heather in, like, I feel like I just want to thank everybody for praying without that fear, without that doubt. Because of that, I feel like that's why Heather's shown the improvement that she has. That's why she's up and walking today. I feel like even though she has that injection still in her head, even though she can't talk as much as she like, and even though she can't walk as good as she could, and even though she can't do everything that she did before, she's living, and she made it. And, like, we just thank everybody for praying without that fear and that doubt. And even whenever the devil, like, puts those situations in our life, because they will come, when you least expect it, you'll just feel like you literally got hit by a train or something, and you'll be down and out, and you'll want to ask, you know, why God, why me? I don't deserve this. But it can always be worse. Like, God's not going to put you through something you can't handle, as cliche as it may sound. And I just want to say that Heather has seen everybody's social media posts. She loves me on the cell phone still. She'll take your phone if you go visit her, and she'll scroll through it. And when she sees posts, she takes a second to read it, and she says, "Aww," like, as cute as she can be. And so, like, I just want to tell you guys that we're very thankful for, like, what you've done and everything. And we brought Heather here to see you guys today. And so she's actually walking over here.
I want to thank everybody for the support. It's been really overwhelming. I just can't express how much it's really meant to all of us in your prayers. Thank you so much.
I'd like for Tommy Lennon, if you could come here. And I just want everybody to maybe like give them a round of applause because like they put on all this stuff like last minute. I know everybody contributed, so maybe like a round of applause for everybody out here and everything. Heather would love is like she wants to take pictures of everybody and she wants to stay, but because of like her brain damage, like she still has that thing right there. She isn't allowed to be like overwhelmed and stimulated, so she's not gonna be able to stay or anything. But she wanted to make it out here and see what everybody's done, and she's like it completely smiles and laughter is like all the time. So like thank you for everything. Like you really like changed our outlook on the whole situation. Like you made our past month better than we ever thought it could be. Like we're very blessed, and we just thank everybody from the bottom of our hearts for all you've done for us. And like the Lord is good. We serve an awesome God, and because of Him, because of your prayers, like Heather's here today, and she's walking, she's laughing, she's smiling. Like that's something they told us she'd never be able to do. That's awesome. We like can't thank you guys enough.